Hey guys, I'm back. I'm a little behind. Halloween was... I had to do a lot of work for Halloween. And I'm going to show you what I produced for Halloween, because I used some stuff from some boxes themselves. But for right now, we need to catch up. We need to look at the Budget Blade box for October 2019, which is the ESSE Avispa frame lock, released with Randall's, in coordination with Randall's Adventure Training. So those of you who are familiar with the RAT series, that's where the RAT comes from. And I really like this knife. This is a good knife. I've given one away. I have one myself. But it's funny that it's a RAT, Randall's Adventure Training knife, because to me, you can't talk about the Avispa without talking about the good old Ontario RAT-1. Now this one right here is destined to go to one of my top Patreon guys, longtime viewer on the channel. You guys might know him as Slam Security. So this is going to him, but I'm going to take the opportunity real quick to show you really the differences, the similarities, and the differences between the RAT-1 and the Avispa, because they're very similar designs with a few key differences, and a difference in price too. But this is going to be the unboxing and the review for this knife, but we're going to look at it here because there's two great knives that you may choose for different reasons. But you'll see why I like to compare them to each other and together. So let's start with the knife itself that we're looking at anyway, the Avispa, which means, I think, does it mean mosquito or wasp? I can't remember. They have one that means mosquito. I think Avispa means wasp. Yeah, there's a wasp. So it's a very lightweight knife, frame lock design. It's a steel frame lock. You have a 4-way mountable clip. Like it. It's I think, if I remember correctly, it's a D2 blade. Very slim. Now this knife is pretty good on its own, comfort-wise and everything, but just the big flat features lend itself really well for custom work and everything. Let's look now at an Ontario, if I can open the box, RAT-1. A little bit bigger, liner lock, so you have scales on both sides, but look at the screw placement in the clips. Just look at the shape of the scales there and everything. It's a very similar knife. Wait till we get the blades out. Well, the blades is kind of a big difference, but similar in weight. A little bit thicker because it's not that frame lock. It's got a little bit more to it because you need 2 scales and 2 liners and all that stuff, but still 4-way mountable clip, which is like lots of soup for everybody. Similar blade design towards the pivot and everything. Pivot bolts are almost exactly the same. So you can see some very strong family heritage coming from the RAT lineup here. Now this is not a RAT anything. It doesn't have a RAT number, but it's still with the Randall Adventure Training lineup. So let's take a look here. Super smooth, great drop point blade. I'm sorry, this is OS 8. I do believe there's one in D2. Now God, I spaced out. The RAT-1 also is available in OS 8 and D2. Funny, right? Slightly different blade shape, but both of these for production knives without bearings or anything are remarkably smooth, incredibly smooth, super smooth. Like I can't even, it blew me away. The first time I ever got a RAT-1, I was on a deployment in 2012 maybe? Yeah, I think. Yeah. And it blew my mind how well tuned and smooth this knife was. Now this knife is also a pain in the ass. If you take it apart and don't put it together exactly right, your blade's going to be off center, but there's a little trick to it. This screw right here is the key to centering this blade when you put it all back together before you tighten the pivot down. But anyway, very, very similar design for these knives. So it really comes down to a couple things. Do you like your frame lock? Do you like your liner lock? They're both really good. One is a little slimmer than the other, and one has more of a traditional drop point kind of blade. And one has almost, now I'm not saying it's a Scandi grind, but almost a Scandi type blade. You know, I think it still qualifies as a drop point. But it really, it all depends on, you know, those very few differing features on what you like. In terms of measurements and everything, I mean, remarkably similar. Now, you know, it used to say for Ontario Knives, it used to say RAT-1 on it. Now it just says Model 1. This has the Randall Adventure Training design on it. They've gone through some different blade design markings on here, but it used to actually say RAT-1. And there's a smaller model of this, the Model 2, the RAT-2. There's the Zancudo, which is this smaller version of this, which means mosquito. It's, you know, just a small version. But anyway, two phenomenal choices for whatever you want. This is always when somebody wants a, you know, it used to be a much, the price has gone up lately. But when you want a mid-priced, you know, really reliable, good folding knife, this is always on the list of great knives to have in your collection. Great customizability, I should say, because of the design. Same thing with this one. You're looking at mainly one scale, unless you're talking about doing Cerakote work or, you know, laser engraving or something designed to the frame side. But you can do all sorts of cool custom stuff to that side. And then, of course, the blade on both of them, since it's a full flat grind on both sides, so lots of opportunity to do, again, Cerakote work, engraving work, even hydrographics. I don't recommend hydrographics on the blade, but it can be done, and we can Cerakote over it to protect it, but it's going to scratch eventually, probably sooner rather than later. Even the clips give good opportunity to do good stuff here. Let's get back to looking at the Avispa. So it is a kind of a no-frills, affordable frame lock. Again, AUS 8, heat treated well, very, very smooth. Love the action on this knife, always have. I've actually reviewed one of these before, so I'm not going to do the full review, you know, with the ratings and everything. It's been done, but what I really haven't done is just done, like, you know, I haven't given you like a full feature-to-feature, size-to-size comparison with the RAT-1. So in terms of, though, just talking about the budget blade box, so you know, people ask me, what is the best knife subscription? And I always have to say, listen, I can think of two that I really get behind. If you're willing to spend the money and you want some high-quality stuff to add to your collection, Monthly Knife Club is great. Great customer service. You're going to spend some money, but you're going to get some higher-end type stuff to put in your collection. If you're looking for good quality at a decent price, right? So we're not talking like epic designs here, but just good, solid carry pieces that you can do for EDC or, you know, take off on an adventure somewhere. Budget Blade Box by PMP is awesome. Very, very cool stuff. And again, you're not going to get a super fancy knife, but what you are always going to get is something reliable and well made, and definitely worth the price of this subscription. And I think it vary, you know, I haven't checked. I always get it rolled in with my prep box. You can order them separately or you can order them together. I always order them together. So I gotta check, and I'll probably put some text in. I think it rolls somewhere between $25 and $35 a month. I'm not sure. You know, there have been months where we've gotten two things. There have been months where we've gotten one thing. I can't tell, but it's a great way to either explore some knives you might not have thought of otherwise, to get just more pieces for your collection, you know, build up a good, affordable level collection. And it's just, you know, it's good stuff. Jason provides good stuff. And the Zancudo is, as you can see, even with big hands, just like the RAT-1, by the way, I'll point out. Plenty of real estate, good amount of space. Now, it is a little slim, like I said, so if you like the thicker handle in your hand, you know, RAT-1 might be the way to go. I think Zancudo is just cheaper by, you know, a little bit. Maybe by about 25% or so, 20%. I'm not, you know, again, off the top of my head, I'm not price matching here, looking stuff up. I'm just taking the time to show you these two and do the unboxing. But lots of real estate, very comfortable design. What I like to do when I customize these is I will use a thicker scale material. Now, it does make it uneven between one side or the other, but does that really matter? I mean, some people, the aesthetic is off-putting, but I think that adding just a little bit more chunk to it makes it a comfortable hold. So there you go. You've got some decent jimping there. You can always add a little bit more very easily down the spine of the blade or into the frame and scale if you want to. You don't really have much on a reverse grip, but you don't have that on the RAT-1 either. Nice large lanyard hole, so lacing something in there is not a problem. Very easy to do. And then again, the versatility of flipping this clip around. Now, it's not a deep carry clip, but you can see no matter, if you're in the tip down mode, very little sticks out over the pocket edge. When you put it tip up, which is the way I like to carry, you do have enough to get that lanyard hole out, but really we're talking, I don't know, less than half an inch. There are aftermarket clips that you can get that will fit both these knives. Deep carry aftermarket clips for either of these knives. And if you like one over the other, yes, they will switch out. I've tried it. Take a little bit of wiggling around, but they will switch out with each other if you're interested. But that action is phenomenal. It's phosphor bronze washers. Nothing more complicated than that. Do you see the speed with that? I mean, it's just so satisfying to flip this open and closed. The lock, it does put a little bit of burden on your thumb, a little bit of pressure over time, so you might not want this as your fidget spinner type, knife. Let me see. It is a little bit more easy on the thumb with the RAT-1, but there's also a slightly stronger detent here, so that flick out is just a little bit more rocket than this. Not that there's anything wrong with the deployment on the RAT-1, but you really have that satisfying click and snap, and it's a really, really nice knife overall. I don't know if in the shipment he mixed up finishes and coatings and everything. I have seen this in a really beautiful stone wash on the blade and the frame and the clip and everything. This is actually the first one coated that I've seen, but I like it. It looks pretty good. Nicely done. I know that you can get different colors on the scales, and these are all like a plastic scale. Again, you can go on eBay if you really want to, or Amazon, and you can find all sorts of cool aftermarket scales for these things, and back spacers. Do they match? Not quite. No. So, but you can find all sorts of accessories for both the Avispa and the RAT-1 to trick them out, or you can talk to somebody that does custom work and say, I want you to do custom work. So anyway, lots of cool stuff that you can do with both of these. But, what it comes down to when you're comparing them is really, do you like the thickness of the RAT-1? Do you like the slimness of the Avispa? Do you like liner locks? Do you like frame locks? They're both available in AUS 8 and D2, so that's, like a non-issue. Do you like, which blade shape do you like better? Again, I got to keep referring back to, we are doing the unboxing of the budget blade blocks, and this is a great knife to have in your collection, period, no matter what you're doing with it. Like I said, I've already reviewed this, so I'm not going to do big ratings, with it. But I mean, is this going to increase in a lot of value, become collectible? Probably not. But it is cheap enough that you can get one, customize it, trick it out, make it all the way yours, and then still get another one just to keep stock in your collection. And it's reliable, it's solid, it's tough, it's that lock is solid, doesn't travel, doesn't stick. Centering is, it's common for these to be off center by like a millimeter or so, but this one's damn good. And it just works. Love that action. So you can't go wrong with either one of these. I'm always recommending the RAT-1. And the Zancudo I forget about often. I said Zancudo, I meant Avispa. I forget about often, but it's a great, great option. So I'm glad that Jason chose to put this in to the box. So here's a question. Now, yes, your thoughts on this, number one, as a knife in the budget blade box, but also while we're doing it, so anybody have a preference, RAT-1 versus the Avispa? We could be for whatever reason. You just like the looks of it better. You like the shape of it better. You like the blade style better. You like liner locks or frame locks better. Whatever. But what do you guys think? And what options would you like? What kind of knives would? Because Jason, I say this all the time. He reads the comments, guys, and he cares about what you think. He cares about customers. He really does. What do you think about Budget Blade Box? And what would you like to see as knives in the box? What would you like to see him do different? Or are you like really happy with it? Let him know. He will read and he'll even respond to the comments. So make sure you're getting in there with it, okay? All right, guys. I got a lot more catching up to do. Wait till I show you the Halloween kind of after action report video. You guys will think it's cool. In the meantime, remember, you are all absolutely awesome. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will be back again real soon.